This video will explain the OneAmerica State Life Annuity Care 2 product illustration. This product is their combination annuity long-term care product. The first page is simply a title page, followed by the second page giving us an overview of benefits. And in this particular instance, we're looking at a couple, both age 65, and their joint equal age would also be 65. It's interesting to note that for a couple that's the exact same age, the product would work the same whether it was for a single person or a couple. It just would depend on who could take money out for long-term care benefits. In this case, either one of the people, the husband or wife, could take money out for long-term care benefits. If one of them was uninsurable, you would have to issue it on the other person, and only that person would be able to take out money for long-term care benefits. So let's look at what we've got. We have a $90,000 single premium going in. That premium gets credited interest for two different amounts. One is the long-term care accumulated value. This is how much you could take out in long-term care benefits. And at the end of year one, it's equal to $90,903. You also have a continuation of long-term care benefits, and that account at the end of year one is worth $109,000. We add those together, we get almost $200,000 of long-term care benefits, and it would start those payments out at $3,030 per month. So what happens is we pay our $90,000 in, and we end up with 30 months where we're basically withdrawing our own money plus any interest that we've earned. And the next 36 months would be a continuation of benefits amount, which would be greater than what we had paid in. And we would get a total of 66 months of total benefits. This is a reimbursement style contract, and it has an elimination period of 90 days for both home and facility care. If we look at the first page of the ledger, we can see that it shows projected non-guaranteed interest rates. To make things just a little more complicated, we have two different interest rates that come into play. We have an interest rate off the original $90,000 deposit on the accumulation account, and currently that interest rate is 1.6%. We then have a different interest rate that grows the long-term care accumulated value column, and that interest rate is currently 2.2%. So you'll see that our long-term care accumulated value is growing faster than our accumulated value. Both of those columns do have a deduction on them, which is the cost for this continuation of benefits balance. So under a non-guaranteed interest rate, you'll see that there's growth in both of these accounts in all years, as the cost for this other column is less than the interest accumulated on either of those other accounts. There is a 10-year surrender charge if you wanted to pull out the accumulated value amount. What we see is not an inflation in this growth of the long-term care balance, but it's a growth due to the interest rate being credited and that exceeding the charges that are being taken out each year. So it looks kind of like an inflated benefit, but it is just a benefit growing with an interest rate assumption on there. If we go down to the fifth page, we'll see the guaranteed interest rate. So the same column, same years, but this is what it looks like under a guaranteed scenario. Now, what happens here is the long-term care accumulated value grows at 2.2% for 5 years, and then it falls to 1%. The accumulated value starts at 1.6 year one and then immediately goes down to 1% in year two. So we can see that this one falls off a lot quicker. The charges for the rider are higher than the interest earned, which means that this column is going to decrease and this column is going to freeze the benefits. But it still gives us, for $90,000 of initial deposit, $200,000 to start with, and a minimum guaranteed long-term care benefit balance of $207,000. You can see that the first month it would pay out at $3,030, and when you get out into year 6, it would start paying out at $3,150 a month. Once again, that's not an inflated value, it's due to the interest earnings on the long-term care accumulated fund balance. The last 2 pages of the illustration are definitions, and you can see in this page 7 that it gives you the interest rate that we've talked about, 2.2% for 5 years on the long-term care accumulation value, and it shows the accumulated value grows at 1.6% with a minimum guaranteed interest rate of 1.0%.